Look closely at this tag. To you, it looks like a responsible traveler making sure their bag finds its way home. But to a trained pair of eyes in this terminal, that tag isn't an ID, it's an invitation. It's a welcome mat for your empty house, and it's telling a complete stranger exactly how long they have to break in before you get back. Hello everyone, I'm Elena. For 12 years, I served as a lead flight attendant for one of the major US carriers. I've spent more time in the galley than in my own kitchen, and I've conducted thousands of pre-flight briefings. Now, as a travel consultant helping my fellow seniors navigate the world, my job is to make sure your golden years of travel are defined by joy, not by a phone call from the police while you're halfway across the Atlantic. Today, we are talking about a habit many of us picked up back in the golden age of flying, the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Back then, your home address on a bag was your safety net. In 2026, it's your biggest security leak. I'm going to show you why I never, and I mean never, put my home address on my luggage and exactly what I do instead to ensure my bags always find me. When I was flying as a lead, my primary responsibility wasn't just safety in the air, it was situational awareness. We are trained to spot the out-of-place passenger, the nervous flyer, or the individual who is paying a little too much attention to things they shouldn't. But here's the reality. Once you step into this terminal, you're in a fishbowl. From the moment you hand your ID to the gate agent to the second you pick up your bag at Claim 4, your information is being handled by a dozen different people. Most of them are hardworking professionals. But as I always tell my clients, you don't plan for the 99% who are honest. You plan for the 1% who aren't. Think about the journey your bag takes. It goes from your car to the skycap or the check-in desk. It travels on a belt through the guts of the airport. It's loaded by ground crews. It sits on a cart on the tarmac. Then, at your destination, it pops out onto a carousel where anyone, passenger or not, can stand and watch. If your bag has a tag that says Mary and John Smith, 123, Maple Lane, Scottsdale, AZ, and you are currently landing in London, what have you just told the world? You've announced that 123 Maple Lane is likely empty. You've announced that the owners have enough disposable income to fly internationally. And by the sheer look of your luggage, maybe it's a heavy bag because you're gone for 3 weeks. You've even told them how much time they have to operate. In my 12 years, I saw it happen. I've had passengers come to me at the end of a flight, distraught because they realized their privacy flap on their tag was tucked in and someone had been lingering a bit too long near their bags at the gate. It only takes 10 seconds to snap a photo of a luggage tag with a smartphone. 10 seconds to have your home address, your full name, and the knowledge that you're 3,000 miles away. Let's talk about why this is a specific concern for our community, the over 60 travelers. We are often the ones who have worked hard to afford the bucket list trips. We're going on the 14-day Mediterranean cruise or the month-long tour of the national parks. When I was a flight attendant, I'd chat with passengers in the galley during the quiet hours of a long-haul flight. I'd hear about their beautiful homes, their gardens, and how excited they were to finally be away. It's a wonderful feeling. But that excitement can lead to a lapse in travel OPSEC. Operation security. Criminals in 2026 are more sophisticated than they were 20 years ago. They don't just guess which house is empty. They look for verified leads. An airport luggage carousel is essentially a lead generation center for burglars. Imagine a spotter at the airport. They aren't looking for the bag to steal. That's too high risk with all the cameras. They are looking for addresses. They see a high-end suitcase with a home address. They see a couple who clearly looks like they are heading out on a long vacation, and they text that address to an associate on the ground in your home city. This isn't about being paranoid. It's about being what we call in the industry hard targets. When I did my pre-flight safety checks, I wasn't being negative. I was being prepared. Putting your home address on your bag is like leaving your spare key in the lock. You might get lucky, and no one might notice. But why take that chance with your sanctuary? Your home is where your memories are, where your valuables are, and most importantly, it's where you need to feel safe when you return. We need to break the habit of the old way. In the next chapter, I'm going to pull back the curtain on the 10-second glance and show you exactly who is looking at your bags when you aren't. Because once you see it through a lead flight attendant's eyes, you'll never look at a luggage carousel the same way again. Ready to go deeper? Let's talk about the hidden industry secrets that the airlines don't usually put in the pamphlet. Whenever I was in the galley preparing for a long haul, Maybe an 11-hour trek from LAX to Heathrow. I'd look out the small porthole window at the baggage tugs zooming across the tarmac. To most passengers, those bags are just cargo. To us, they are the lifeblood of the operation, but here is the part the airlines hope you never find out. Your bag is touched, viewed, or handled by an average of 12 to 15 different people from the moment you drop it off to the moment it hits the carousel. In my 12 years as a lead flight attendant, I've seen the guts of the airport. It's a city that never sleeps. You have the TSA screeners, the rampies, the ground crew who load the belly of the plane, the transfer drivers, and the third-party contractors who manage the oversized luggage. I remember a flight to London in 2015. We had a mechanical delay on the tarmac and I was looking out the window near the 2L door. I watched a ground contractor, not even an airline employee, slowly walking past a line of bags waiting to be loaded. He wasn't looking for a bag to steal. He had a small notepad. He would pause, look at a tag, scribble something down, and move on. When I reported it to the captain, we found out he was part of a tip-off ring. They weren't interested in your clothes or your souvenirs. They were selling the vacation schedules of wealthy travelers to burglars in their home cities. They knew exactly who was on that 10-hour flight and exactly where they lived. That was the day I went home and ripped the address tags off every single one of my suitcases. As your travel consultant, I want you to understand the 10-second glance. In a crowded airport, no one notices if someone looks at your bag for 10 seconds. In that time, they can memorize your name and your street. For my senior clients, this is a massive safety implication. If you live alone or in a community that is easily identifiable, you are handing a stranger a roadmap to your front door. I know what many of you are thinking. Elena, if I don't put my address on the bag and the airline loses it, how will it ever find me? I understand that fear. We were raised in an era where you labeled everything. But I need to give you a 2026 reality check. The handwritten tag you bought at the drugstore is actually the least effective way for an airline to find your bag. Let's talk about the LPI, license plate identifier. When that gate agent prints out the long, sticky white strip and wraps it around your handle, that is the only thing the airline truly cares about. That barcode contains a 10-digit code linked to your PNR, passenger name record. It tells the global world tracer system exactly who you are, what flight you're on, and where you're going. But here's the bridge you need to cross. Airlines don't mail bags to your home address anymore. If a bag is delayed, the first thing they do is call the phone number on your flight reservation or send an email. They don't look at your handwritten tag and say, "Oh, John lives on Maple Street, let's drive it there." They wait for you to tell them where you are currently staying. I remember a lovely couple on a flight to Rome in 2018. They were celebrating their 50th anniversary. Their bags didn't make the connection in Paris. They were frantic because their home address in Ohio was on the tag, but they were going to be in Italy for 3 weeks. Because they had their home address on the tag, a helpful person at the airport actually tried to forward the bag back to Ohio instead of to their hotel in Rome. It took them 16 days to get their luggage back because the physical tag contradicted the digital flight info. If they had just used their phone number and email, the airline would have sent it straight to their hotel in 3 hours. So, what is the lead flight attendant way? How do I, Elena, tag my bags after 12 years in the sky? I follow a 4-step privacy protocol that I teach all my premium consulting clients. Step 1. The business-only rule. If you must put a physical address, never use your home. Use a business address, a P.O. box, or even your church or local community center address. If you're retired and don't have an office, use the address of the travel agency you booked with. They are happy to take a call for you. This keeps your sanctuary, your home, completely off the map. Step 2. The digital first tag. Your tag should only have 3 things: your name, your phone number, including the country code +1 for the US, and your email address. In 2026, an airline representative is much more likely to shoot you a text or an email than they are to send a letter. Step 3. The hidden flap and inside-out trick. This is my favorite lead secret. Buy luggage tags with a leather flap that covers your information. This prevents the 10-second glance from the guy with the notepad. But then, and this is the key, take a standard piece of paper, write your itinerary and contact info on it in large letters, and tape it to the inside of your suitcase. If your bag's outer tag gets ripped off, which happens more than you'd think in those conveyor belts, the first thing an airline baggage resolution agent will do is open the bag to look for clues. They see that paper, and boom, they know exactly where to send it. I once helped a passenger in the galley who had lost her outer tags entirely on a flight from Tokyo. She was 82 and very worried. I told her, "Let's check the inside." She had a copy of her hotel reservation tucked right on top of her clothes. I walked that bag down to the ground crew myself, and she had her suitcase before she even cleared customs. That inside-out trick saved her entire trip. One final consultant tip: check your travel insurance. Most policies for seniors require you to take reasonable care of your belongings. Using a privacy-focused tagging method isn't just about safety, it's about proving you were a diligent traveler if you ever have to make a claim. Now that you know the Lead Flight Attendant protocol for physical tags, we need to talk about the 21st century digital leash, because there is a tiny device, no bigger than a quarter, that has changed the travel game forever. But if you set it up wrong, you might be giving away more than just your location. Are you ready to see the tech-savvy senior toolkit? Let's dive into the world of AirTags and QR codes. Now, I know some of you might see this tiny little disc and think, "Elena, I'm a traveler, not a computer programmer." I hear you. When I started flying as a lead flight attendant, we didn't have these. We had paper manifests and hope. But today, as your travel consultant, I consider this little device the single most important safety net in your suitcase. This is a Bluetooth tracker. Most of you know them as AirTags or tile trackers. I call it your digital leash. Here is why this is a game changer for my senior clients. Remember how we talked about the 10-second glance and why we don't want our home address visible? These trackers allow you to be invisible to the public but perfectly visible to yourself. But here's the secret to using these that most tech gurus forget to tell you, and it's a mistake I see travelers over 60 make constantly. When you set up an AirTag on your phone, you have the option to name it. Many people name it home bag or use their full name. If you lose your bag and someone with a smartphone finds it, they can actually ping that tag to help return it. If your tag is named Mary Smith, 452 Oak Saint, you've just bypassed all the privacy we worked so hard to build. Instead, name it something generic. And in the lost mode settings, only provide your cell phone number, no address. This way, if a good Samaritan finds your bag, they can call you directly, but they have no idea where you live. I personally prefer the AirTag because of the network. There are billions of iPhones in the world. If your bag is sitting in a basement in a Rome airport and a ramp agent with an iPhone walks past it, that bag will whisper its location to your phone back at the hotel. You don't need to rely on the airline's World Tracer system alone. You can walk up to the baggage counter and say, "I know my bag is in Terminal 3 because I can see it on my map." That kind of authority gets results. Let's play out a scenario. You've landed. You've followed my lead flight attendant protocol. You have no home address on the tag, only your email and phone. You have an AirTag inside, but the carousel stops moving and your bag isn't there. First, take a deep breath. In my 12 years, I've seen thousands of lost bags, and 98% of them are simply delayed. They are on the next flight. But how do you handle this without a home address? You go to the baggage service office and you file a PIR, Property Irregularity Report. This is your most important document. When the agent asks for your permanent address, this is where my clients get nervous. They think, if I don't give my home address, I'll never get my bag. Here is the lead secret. You give them your hotel address or your temporary destination. Why? Because you are there, and your house is empty. If the airline finds your bag 24 hours later, they will hire a third-party courier to deliver it. I've heard horror stories of couriers delivering bags to empty houses, leaving them on the porch because no one was home to sign for them. Now, not only is your house empty, but there's a giant "I'm not home" sign sitting on your front step in the form of a suitcase. If you are on a cruise or moving between hotels, tell the agent to hold for collection at the airport. It is much safer for you to take a 20-minute taxi back to the airport to grab your bag than to have it chasing you across a country, potentially being left in unsecured locations. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the empty house signal to the inside-out trick. I want to make this as easy as possible for your next trip, so I've put together the Elena's Safe Traveler Master Checklist. 1. Remove all old tags. Clear off those sticky barcodes from previous flights. They confuse the scanners. 2. The business-only external tag. Name, phone, plus country code, and email only. 3. Privacy covers. Use tags with a leather flap to block the 10-second glance. 4. The inside-out paper. Tape your itinerary and contact info inside the lid. 5. The digital leash. Place an AirTag or tile in a hidden interior pocket. 6. Take a photo. Take a picture of the outside of your bag and the contents before you close it. I've spent over a decade in the skies, and now I spend my time making sure you enjoy every second of your travels. You've worked hard for these adventures. You deserve to sit in that cafe in Paris or watch the sunset in Hawaii without wondering if your home is secure. Now, I want to address something special. To keep bringing you these updates weekly while I'm busy consulting with my private clients and traveling, I use advanced technology like the AI you're seeing today to help share my 12 years of experience. It allows me to reach thousands of you instead of just one-on-one, ensuring that Auntie Elena's advice is always there when you need it. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to our community here. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever had a luggage nightmare or a tip that saved your trip? I read as many as I can, and your stories help us all travel smarter. Don't let a little piece of plastic on your bag steal your peace of mind. You've earned the right to explore. Your adventure is just beginning. Let's fly right.